My name is Mojisola Oshiboye, and I'm honored to be the master of ceremony for this landmark event. You are all welcome. Today, 29th Thursday, 2026, we are gathered here at Comfort Hub Hotel under the auspices of the GEF UNIDO IEE RECP projects. This platform is very, very vital for sensitization, for discussing feedbacks concerning the project as we drive Nigeria to a more sustainable and profit industrial sector. Thank you very much. Just before we continue, there are anchors that would like them to be at the high table. So please, let's give a round of applause as I call each person to take their seats on the high table. Thank you very much. First, here I have Alhaji Ali Madugu. Alhaji Ali Madugu, MNI, former Vice President, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and the current Chairman, Finance and Establishment Committee of MAN. Our hands together, please. You're welcome, sir. Secondly, I have Alhaji Muhammad Bello I. Umar, Chairman, MAN Kano / Jigawa Branch, Executive Director, Tofa Textiles Limited. Our hands together, please. We have Mr. Dahiru Garuba, who is the GEF Desk Officer. A round of applause. Then we have Mr. Dr. Ruben Bamidele, National Program Officer for UNIDO. Please, let's welcome Mr. Vasily Oye Barbaropoulos, sorry for that. You're welcome to the high table. We have Mr. Jacob Oladipo, National Project Coordinator. Our hands together, please. Our hands together. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Oluwasegun Oshidipe, MNI, National Technical Coordinator. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, I would like to invite all of us to please be on our feet as we observe protocol and take the national anthem. We'll take it at the count of 2. 1, 2. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. You may please take your seats. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, I would like to warmly welcome Alhaji Ali Madugu, MNI, for a welcome address. He is the representative of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Our hands together.
The representative of the Honorable Commissioner of Commerce and Industry, Kano, who I believe is welcoming. The UNIDO representative here present. The technical team that are here for this important engagement. Esteemed members of the University of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm standing here before you to present the President of MAN to give a brief welcome address. I'm delighted to welcome each one of you to this public-private public dialogue session with the Chief Executive Officers of selected manufacturing sector group on the GEF, UNIDO, IEE and RECP project. I recognize the Honorable Commissioner, Head of Government Regulatory Agencies, the organized private sector, and the Chief Executive Officers of the member company who personally took time to attend this dialogue session. Your presence at this session is a testimonial of your belief and strong commitment to sustainable industrial growth and development. I would like to specifically thank UNIDO for its concerted effort to reposition the manufacturing sector in Nigeria for sustained growth through the adoption of leading global practices and methodologies. It is expedient that I affirm upfront that the gains of intentional efforts of this kind are usually mutually beneficial and therefore a win-win for all stakeholders. The implementation of GEF UNIDO industrial energy efficiency, resource efficiency and cleaner production project marks a defining moment in our collective journey towards sustainability. It represents an essential moment for us as leaders in the manufacturing sector, where we have the opportunity and indeed the responsibility to champion sustainable practices that not only drive growth but also preserve our planet for generations to come. Therefore, as we come together to deliberate and strategize, let us not underestimate the transformative power of our discussions. The challenges posed by energy efficiency are multiplicated, encompassing not only economic consideration but also environmental impact and social implications. Embedded within these challenges are opportunities to innovate, optimize, efficiently utilize resources, and to lead the way towards a more sustainable future. As we embrace the principles of energy efficiency, we will not only be reducing our carbon footprint, but also mitigating environmental degradation and saving on energy costs. In return, the efficiency, competitiveness, and resilience of our operation will be enhanced to meet the increasing demand of our ever-evolving global marketplace. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we can safeguard our environment and foster sustained economic growth and development in Nigeria by adopting cleaner production methods, optimizing resource utilization, and investing in energy efficiency technologies. As we embark on this journey towards greater industrial energy efficiency, let us enhance collective knowledge, experience, and creativity present in this field. Let us engage in robust dialogue, forge partnership, and adopt IEE and RECP methodologies in our respective industries. I am confident that together we can gain further traction in our quest to promote environmentally friendly manufacturing. May I therefore encourage everyone to actively participate in the conversation we will be having today. Share your insights and engage in open and constructive dialogue. Let us leverage this platform to forge new pathways and inspire innovation that will drive tangible action towards our shared vision of a cleaner, better Nigeria. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Distinguished guests, partners, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning all. On behalf of GEF Operational Focal Point, Director of Planning and Research and Statistics, Federal Ministry of Environment, I'm giving a remarks. But before I'm going to give a remarks, I want to brief on GEF. Global Environmental Facility is the world's largest multilateral trust fund dedicated to protect planet, biodiversity loss, climate change, pollution, and land degradation. We have 6 focus areas: biodiversity, climate change, international waters, land degradation, chemicals and waste, sustainable forest management. It is with a great pleasure that I extend my warm greetings to all participants at this policy dialogue on GEF UNIDO project. This dialogue marks a crucial step in implementing and aligning with national industrial goals with global environmental priorities. UNIDO's partnership with the GEF has consistently proven that economic growth and environmental stewardship can go hand in hand with focus on sustainable industrialization. I commend the collaborative effort between Federal Ministry of Environment and UNIDO and stakeholders to create supportive policy environment. Lastly, I have confidence that the dialogue held today will lead to actionable framework that fosters resilient industrial sector. I wish all appropriate deliberation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Dahi. Next on my agenda, I want to invite to the podium Dr. Ruben Bamidele, the National Program Officer. Our hands together, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please kindly allow me to start on the update of the protocols. This morning, I bring you the from the Regional Director of UNIDO in Nigeria, Ambassador Fidot Abaka Johnson, who is currently attending our meeting of ECOWAS in Abuja, not be here today. The project that has brought us together, as you are aware, has been ordered for years now, and we are getting to the last lap of the activities on this project, and a lot has been achieved in the area of promotion of industrial energy efficiency in Nigeria and resource-efficient cleaner production. Quite a number of companies and stakeholders have been involved in the implementation of this project, and a lot has been achieved over the years. This meeting, therefore, this morning is quite important because it having dialogue to sensitize ourselves to what has been done and to report on the achievements that have been made since we are working together as partners. To this extent, we'd like to appreciate everyone of who is here today. We want to appreciate all stakeholders. I want to thank the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, particularly for hosting the project management unit of this project and for anchoring and driving the implementation of the project. They have their own activities to implement, but they're also looking after what others are doing. So we want to really appreciate this partnership. It has been very strong and will continue in it. Now, I'd like to mention that a project as laudable as this will not have achieved its intended objectives or goals if it cannot be sustained. Therefore, this meeting this morning is one occasion or opportunity for us to deliberate on how we can sustain the gains of this project. I will say from my own side in UNIDO that we have a program now that we're implementing to the end of 2028, which is called the Nigeria Program for Country Partnership. It has 6 components, and the component under it is what we call sustainable energy development and environmental management. So within the framework of the component of this component of the program, the possibility is there for us to think together, reason together, brainstorm together, join forces together to see how we can sustain this project by scaling up whatever achievement we have made and enable the gains to last. On this note, I would like to thank you again for being here, and I wish us fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Standing on the existing protocol, I want to say a very blessed morning to all of us for making it to this wonderful session today. Representing my director, Federal Ministry of Environment, Pollution Control and Environmental Health. We've been on this project for over 4 years now, and it's been a worthwhile progress. The project improving Nigeria's industrial energy performance and resource efficiency cleaner production through a programmatic approach and the promotion of innovation in clean technology solution was conceived by the Federal Ministry of Environment and was well promoted by UNIDO, and thanks to GEF for hacking to the call of Nigeria to bring in the concept of resource efficiency cleaner production to Nigeria to help promote the environmental performance of industries. And in doing that, trying to increase their enterprise gain. So it's not just to promote the environment, but to see that Nigerian industries work in a sustainable manner so that there's not going to be, back and forth of policies and regulation trying to step down the industrial growth in Nigeria, but rather to reform the policies and regulations to contribute to the upliftment of industries in Nigeria. Thank you very much once again, and I wish you a successful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're making good progress. So the next thing on our agenda is a group photograph, and right after that, we'll take 10 minutes off for our tea break, and then we'll reconvene again.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. My name is Mahmoud Bala, the Director of Industry, Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives. Representing the Honorable Commissioner, although himself would like to be here, but he has another official engagement, so he cannot be here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware that energy is the backbone for every industrial development, so as well as every industrial development is the backbone of every economy in the world. Realizing this, we like to give energy a priority, being a key area in driving the growth and competitiveness. Our main role here is to witness, encourage, and champion this partnership, and urge you to use this platform boldly, share the real challenges, and design pragmatic solutions, and finally forge agreements that are implementable and impactful. Let this dialogue move from paper to practice, where barriers are identified and dismantled together, where every kilowatt of electricity saved will translate into stronger enterprises and cleaner environment. Well, thank you for listening to this, my short brief. It is my ardent hope that the dialogue will bring a beautiful outcome. And I thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, Director of Industry. He said something profound, that in the course of our dialogue, it is hoped that barriers are not only identified, but our coming together, our dialogue is going to dismantle these barriers. Thank you very much once again. Next on our agenda, I'm going to be inviting the National Technical Coordinator in the person of Dr. Oluwasegun Oshidipe, MNI, to give us an overview of the project and the implementation status. Our hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
Seeing the project, the title of the project is Improving Nigeria's Energy Performance and Resource Efficient Cleaner Production through Pragmatic Approach and the Promotion of Innovative Cleaner Technology Solution under the GEF project. The funding agency is the Global Environment Facility. Implementing agency is UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. The project's cost is a combination of contribution for both the federal government, GEF, and also some partner organizations that came in form of kind. The executive partners are the federal government of Nigeria, represented by two entities. One is the Federal Ministry of Environment. The second is Energy Commission of Nigeria. And the third, in this case, from the private sector, is the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria. In the wisdom of the initiator of the project, for the first time, the private sector was approved as the project management unit. So meaning the engine room for the implementation was actually located within the private sector. Obviously for one reason, because what we are talking about will ultimately be deployed in industries. So to be able to reach out to the real operators of the manufacturing sector, I think in that wisdom, the project management unit was situated in Man. I'm trying to run through, because if you look at the program, we have 10 minutes and we started 30 minutes after the scheduled time. The key stakeholders are there on the screen. Bank of Industry, for the fact that there's a financing component that requires funds, loans to be given to those that are interested. If after you have done proper assessment, for example, energy audit in your facility, and you've identified things that are responsible for the high energy bills that you have, and you intend to replace them with more, energy efficient equipment, you don't need to dip your hand into your working capital. All you need to do is approach Bank of Industry desk to get that loan. Before now, I think it was single digit interest rate, but now I think it's 10% interest rate. I feel I should just mention that all other agencies you can see on the screen, in the spirit of managing the time effectively. Permit me to talk about the university, because there's a capacity building aspect of the project that expects us, because when you look at the methodologies, they are largely nascent to us. So there's need for sustainability to put in place a curriculum that will enable our existing universities to begin to run courses in them. When you check out the list of courses that will tag the courses of the future, this happened to be one of them. So in the wisdom of the project, 4 universities have been were selected. And as at the last count on our checklist, the National University Commission has given the nod to the curriculum developed. And those 4 universities, one is, Bayero University, Kano, Federal University of Petroleum Fupri in Warri, University of Abuja, and University of Lagos. I need to say that the 2 partners I talked about earlier, ECN is managing is the team leading the working group on industrial energy efficiency, while the Ministry of Environment is managing the second leg, which is resource efficient and cleaner production. The project objective is to accelerate the adoption of these methodologies in industries, so that when we do that, we will not only be operating efficiently, we will also not only be able to reduce our energy costs, but we'll also be impacting the environment positively. That takes me quickly to the project methodologies. The first one that you see there talks about RECP, and under that, the methodology entails the deployment of environmental management system, which is classified under ISO classification as ISO 14001 series. The second is industrial energy and efficiency, which falls under ISO 50001. The institutional arrangement is such that at the top, like you all know, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. At the top, you have the GEF, which is the financier, followed by the implementing partner, lead one, which is UNIDO. Then at the center, you have the project management unit domiciled in Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. To the left, you have the governing board, which is the project steering committee made up of strategic agencies, both in public sector and private sector, just to approve and ensure that the project objectives are achieved as set. On the left side, you have Bank of Industry, which I've talked about extensively about their role. And beneath, you have the IEE working group domiciled in ECN. You have the RECP working group domiciled in Federal Ministry of Environment. Then you have international experts, and we have national experts. Some of our national experts will be making short presentations to us, even in the course of this engagement today. The beneficiaries are listed as shown on the screen because of time. I will run to the targeted geographical zones. We have Region 1 in Southwest. We have Region 2 in South-South. We have Region 3 in Southeast. We have Region 4 in the North. But what we have been doing as required in the implementation, our focal point for this zone, we have the zones, we have Kano, we have Abuja, we have Lagos, and we have Onitsha. According to the dictates and provision of the project document, we are expected to focus on specific sectors, not all sectors. One of them happened to be petrochemical, wood and furniture sector, textile sector. We have the basic metal, iron and steel sector, and we have the food and beverage sector. You will recall that during the opening session, the rep from UNIDO spoke about sustainability. Hopefully, part of the expectation to also sustain in the long run may be considering other sectors that are not already captured under this particular project. The Other targets set for the project in course of implementation requires that 70 industry across Nigeria should benefit from capacity building, from cleaner production assessment, and at least we should have 500 IEE and 200 RECP designated staff and employees of company trained in this manner. And you quite agree with me, for those that have been on this corridor with us, that we've been having series of capacity building programs in Kano, for example, just like we are here today. And a number of employees of member companies have been trained in this direction. The broad objective and benefits, the first one in terms of benefits is to reduce the cost of production and improve profitability. When you deploy these two methodologies in your industry, it gives you a competitive edge. It shows how resourceful you are in terms of managing materials and resources. It improves the health of not only your staff and also your host community, because by reason of your operation, if you are impacting the environment positively, indirectly, your host community as well as your staff will be healthy. The other one is that you improve your brand image and visibility. Now we are having situation that even when you export product now, international organizations want to see to what level have you introduced and adopted sustainability principles even in your operation. Reduces exposure to global rising energy costs. If you can manage your energy costs to a large extent because it's within your sphere of influence, that gives you a competitive edge in the long run. Positive impact on the environment, I've spoken about that directly or indirectly. The training workshop, even though the targets were given, spoke largely about the number that we should train. From the screen that we can see, we have Lagos, we have Kano, we have Anambra, we have Abuja. We even trained some in Port Harcourt at the beginning stage and Benin. But all together, total, as against 500, we have trained over 1,305 Nigerians working for industrial firms have been able to benefit from this capacity building. Beneath that, you also see the breakdown of the training session and the number of males and females that participated in the program. One of the key conditions given by UNIDO and GEF for the program is the implementation of the project in a manner that we take gender issue very, very serious. Some of you that participated in our workshop, you realize that when we have female participants, we like to have them in front. We want to showcase that they are actually there in our pictures and all of that. The reason is we have a checklist that we must tick. And part of it is that we need to give preference to ensure that the female folks have due representation. The other bar chart that you see on that side talks about the sum total of attendance according to the year, the number of years. And the second bar chart is also laying credence to the one that I spoke about earlier.
We are one of the oldest, one of the oldest standing foundry group in Nigeria and in West Africa. We used to have 87 foundries in 1990, according to the Federal Ministry of Industry, and today probably just 3. That I don't need to say more. Let me go to the more specific things. UNIDO has actually helped us a lot because as a foundry we consume a lot of energy, and it really guided us with all the help that it gave us and gave us a direction on the way to go forward. If the CEO doesn't buy in, you might as well forget us. Forget it. Most Nigerian manufacturers treat energy as a sunk cost. In other words, we accept that in Nigeria energy is not good, and therefore we might as well take it as a cost, and that's it. And I want to say that's not actually the case. You actually can sit and find little gold mines in your energy structure. big specific challenges on reliable grid power. Again, you have high diesel costs for your generators and gas costs. Old equipment, that is another big problem. We all suffer from old equipment that consume a lot. And then we have a lot of high raw material losses and so on. Our journey took, we broke everybody down into teams, and it took, UNIDO did a lot of help by courses, and then we'd sit down together and do meetings and figure out on how we're going to make improvements. And again, all the improvements are step by step, based on the Kaizen Japanese style, which is step by step little improvements, and then you eventually reach to huge improvements. Now, these are some major initiatives that I want to show to you. One major initiative is that we had serious problems, terrible, with energy. And we were able to connect to Shiroro Hydropower Dam. And we are in Ota, Ogun State. You know where Shiroro is. So, and it could only happen by connecting to the transmission line, avoiding the disco, and because we were a cluster of industries. That all contributed, and we found somebody who was ready to run the whole show. So, we were having, under the disco, 100 outages per month, 60 to 70% power usage at grade A, destroyed electronics in all our equipment of up to $350,000 yearly. Today we have 90% availability, fantastic quality of energy from Shiroro, 20% lower than the disco cost, and we get informed at least 6 hours before to 24 hours when they are going to shut down. Hydropower is the cleanest energy that you can actually imagine. It's even cleaner than gas. So, as you can see, that is the link. Once power quality stabilizes, then you stop looking at power as temporary fixes and so on. This thing with Shiroro started way back in 2016. The transmission area was too far away. We could not actually do it on our own, but eventually, when we all put our hands together and somehow we found and worked it out and put some money and got the line drawn to us. I have to sit and say that fixing your power is a long-term thing. It's called CapEx. Now, banks like BOI should be able to help with low-interest loans, but in particular, all over the world, in particular in the more advanced world, the government gives incentives. We don't have any incentives here whatsoever. So, I'd like to say, going again based on hydropower, amazing. Two of our engineers, and there were another 2 companies participating, were sent for training this last December by UNIDO, sponsored fully by Belgium, to learn how to make a small hydro power station like 1 megawatt or whatever. They'll be going also for a second round. How many rivers do we have? Small little streams, then Boku, go Tiga Dam, go to so many places. You just put 1 megawatt hydropower little station, and the whole village don't get power. And all of them, they enjoy. So let's go. The next thing that I want to sit and talk about here is that we are basically recyclers of scrap. You give us your part you want, and we redesign it, reverse engineer it. We use scrap iron, plus we add nickel and whatever, chromium and whatever, and then we make the parts for you. So we basically are recyclers. We clean the environment also of scrap, and at the same time we give a big benefit to the industries in Nigeria, starting from cement, Lafarge, Dangote, Bua, and so on, making a lot of parts for them. going to agro-allied industry like Okomu and so on. So everybody who has parts comes to us. Okay, they want it fast and they want it at a good price. Last but not least, well, not last but not least, but I'll just sit and state that we invested in metal 3D printing. I don't know how many of you know about metal 3D printing. This whole investment was also in participation with Shell, was over 3 billion naira. And that is basically using laser and powder technology to build parts. It's the latest, it's what aerospace uses. Give you an example, that's an impeller. 6 kilogram stainless steel impeller we recently printed. Printing energy 60 kilowatts times 12 hours it took to print it, 720 kilowatts. If that impeller, there was not the technology for metal 3D printing, we would have to make pattern tooling, make a mold out of CO2 silica sand, melt in our furnaces, have yield losses, machine it, and whatever else. So you can imagine the amount of processes, costs, and toll to the environment and how much more energy would have been required. This is just a video. I don't know if you want to see it about how the 3D printer was actually installed. Yeah. This is where factories are going now, in China, in Europe, and in America. Eventually, traditional manufacturing will be out of the way. Uses powder, that's powder. It's a completely different frame of mind and everything.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vasily. If I may, I crave your indulgence. We are going to give 2 different rounds of applause. One for Mr. Vasily for a very amazing and a heartwarming, educative presentation. Let's give that for him. And then the second one to UNIDO, GEF UNIDO. Hopefully, their representatives are here and they can see that we are truly grateful. They are really transforming the industrial picture. And with all of these testimonies, I'm so sure, I'm confident that the future for the industry is looking up. Thank you very much. Our hands together for GEF UNIDO. Next, I would like to invite to the podium Mr. Apa Bello on discussions around project financing framework.
So the MOU supports the implementation of the GEF program for Nigeria's industrial energy performance and resource efficient production through programmatic approaches to production and innovation in energy solutions. The MAN, that's the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, is the coordinator of the organization project monitoring, while BOI starts with the facilitation, access to finance for industries adopting industrial energy operations, resource efficient production, that's RECP. The objective of this project is 1, to promote energy, materials, water, and chemical efficiency. Number 2 is to provide industrial environmental sustainability and energy access. Number 3 is to strengthen policy frameworks, build capacity in energy management system, energy system optimization, and resource-efficient cleaner production. Number 4 is to demonstrate and pilot industrial energy efficiency (IEE) and resource-efficient cleaner production. Benefits to industries. Number 5 is to enhance industrial investment via funding mechanisms.
We are even on the Hall of Fame for having paid our loans on time and everything. At one point in time, 3 months, you get your loan. Today, 2 years, we are waiting. Second aspect, what you are offering for the energy sector is too low. If somebody wants to go into using gas, depending on the size, that's quite low. I want to appreciate one thing and say that unfortunately, there were many interventions under the previous regime to assist industry. And I know for a fact that these interventions have stopped from the federal government and have been pushed onto BOI. And that has given them undue, let's call it pressure or whatever. But please, you are going to give loan, you have some respected customers, make sure that it's not 2 years, because a lot changed over that time period. Thank you.
Treasurer, Manufacturers Association, Bompai Jigawa branch, and also a rep of Gala Investments Limited. Permit me to thank the organizers of this program, particularly UNIDO, and all efforts that they've been putting in place to promote power efficiency. But my concern is to BOI. I want to know what BOI is doing to be able to function globally, to have a global picture where businesses within Nigeria can compete favorably with international best practices. What I'm saying is this. If you look at India, for instance, cost of lending is about 7%. And from my findings, banks even queue, just like your bank, they queue to get direct support, direct lending opportunity to businesses as low as 7%. And what their competitive edge is their ability to give you either in 21 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, as the case may be. But for BOI, you don't deal with business directly. Businesses have to bring bank guarantees. And we have even seen instances where BOI had approved loan and the owner of the business is unable to get a bank guarantee to finance his project. So I want to know what BOI is doing to cover this gap so that products that comes from countries like India and China, so that our homemade product can compete with them. Because whatever we are doing should be to promote our industry. And when our industry are able to produce their finished product at less cost, it will be able to compete with products coming from abroad. I will give you an instance as I stop. Adire, for instance. Adire is our own. Adire is our own. But today, our local manufacturers cannot compete with Adire that is coming from China. And China came here to copy us. Why? Because of the production efficiency and the use of technology. Then our government should look at that area and support these people so that our product can compete across the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for these questions. Once we wish to thank you for being our customer for a very long time. Having been our Hall of Fame, it means you must have paid at least 2 facilities. I mean, you have experienced how our processes are. So actually, the delay in disbursement, I'm sure, was caused maybe due to delay in submission of the security, that could be bank guarantee. So I'm sure once the bank guarantee is submitted, within 2 or 3 weeks, the money should be disbursed. So the issue of money being set aside for energy efficient equipment, if you could remember during my presentation, I made mention of 100 million being the cap for customers to access the facility under this particular partnership. However, we have other funds in which any customer can access billions, 1 billion, 2 billion, up to 2 billion. Honestly, last year we disbursed 17 billion here in Kano. Yeah, 17 billion here in Kano. And for the tenure, if you look at our tenures, we have a tenure ranging between 3 to 5 years, which I'm sure we only get from commercial banks. This is like due to our nature or your nature of transactions, you need more time to settle your company. That's action. Or maybe if we discuss that was also why this moratorium period. So, on the issue of supplements, our loans actually are very cheap. It ranges between 6 and 8. Remember, we are also getting finances from outside the country. So it depends on the rate we have gotten the funds. That will determine the rates we give. For the security, it's a policy. We cannot give out loans without security. We are being governed by CBN policies. So any loan above 10 million should be secured, either bank guarantee, legal or asset in order to make it easier for applicants. That was why we decided to we have so many options for customers to go into that security. If we don't afford the bank guarantee, there is a legal mortgage for which we use factoring as collateral. There is also all asset debenture. If you don't have a land to offer as collateral, you can use the equipment to purchase for you together with the factory as a security. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Bello, the chairman, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Bompai Jigawa branch. Like MD said regarding the issue, the loan you gave, the maximum cap of 100 million. I think the point he's trying to make is if you're really serious about financing energy efficiency, it should be more than that. Because look at it, on average, let's say an industry consumes 1 megawatt. If I decide today I'm going to invest in a 1 megawatt power plant, at least I think I have to spend at least $500,000 upwards, which 100 million is just a small chunk of it. So it won't go far. And more so, if you look at the monetary period for your loans, I think for you, like he said, in the past, if you look at it, long-term loans, true, long-term what do you call it, long-term loans, if you look at the period in the past 10, 20 years, but if you look at it nowadays, it's 5, I think maximum 5, 7 years, I think max I've seen. So if you look at some of the investment for a business to sustain and also to generate enough to repay the loan needs to be long-term. And when we talk about long-term, it shouldn't be just 5 years, 7 years. We should talk about 10 years, 20 years. There are loans like that. We see it all over the world. So these are things that BOI should consider. I'm talking about energy efficiency and the loans, like he said. The energy efficiency will pay the loan eventually with the money that is being saved from the power plant really will pay for it. Thank you. And you would like to add something?
Before we had the Shiroro Dam breakthrough, we had applied for gas generators. Getting the gas generators versus NEPA and diesel, in our feasibility study, it showed clearly that within the first year, what we were saving by using gas would pay principal plus interest. So if you are going for energy efficiency, you've done your calculations, so therefore, it's going to pay your loan back. It is not going to be whether you sell or you don't sell. It's a different story. You're not getting more equipment or anything like that. You are doing energy efficiency. And that's how it goes all around the world. Our calculations were clearly based on that. Anyway, we were very lucky. The Shiroro opportunity came in, so we had to drop that one and focus on something else with you guys. But I'm saying this for everybody else to know. Energy efficiency can bring you so much money that can pay your loan back.
First one is the issue of 100 million cap. In my presentation, I've stated that the 100 million cap is only under this particular partnership with UNIDO GEF. Meaning, under this partnership, the interest rate is 8%. That's the only difference. But you can access higher, you can access billions. It's just that when you're accessing higher than 100 million, the interest rate is going to be 10%, not 8%. So that's the only difference. So, and the issue of tenure, sir, the tenure is on case-by-case basis. We will have to look at your business, understand you, discuss with you, and then we agree on the tenure. It's negotiable. If you said 5 years is too much, it's too small for you, you can extend it to 6 years, 7 years. What we want is for you to repay the loan comfortably without any default. In some cases, after advancing your facility, we'll go back and extend the tenure. We notice that making the payment in such period is too small for you. We extend it by 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Olakunle Oweye. I'm the Managing Director of ECOWAT Nigeria. ECOWAT is the IEE national expert on this project. So my presentation will be about discussing our experiences and also testimonials from the beneficiaries of this laudable program on adopting industrial energy efficiency, and also to touch on the regulatory framework to set a good foundation for the dialogue session that will come after this presentation. Okay, so I think before we look at the testimonials and the experiences, let's take our mind back again to see the insights on the focus area for implementing industrial energy efficiency. And the first one here is on thermal systems. So we usually audit thermal systems, which, because some industries, they use hot water, they use furnace to dry raw materials, they use steam, and these are really significant energy users. So we look at that. Then again, we focus on electrical systems. So most people would think that when you talk about energy audit, it's purely electricity. So energy audit is not only electricity, like I said, it's also involved thermal, but electrical system is also a key aspect of industrial energy efficiency focus. And if you're looking at the electrical system, you're talking about the big electric motor, chillers, and also power quality aspect. Then we also look into utilities, because most of these factories, either they generate their own electricity by themselves using diesel gas generator, or they get electricity from the national grid. That is also very important aspect of our intervention, where we look at the utility and how efficient those supplies are. Then lastly, we look at the process, because this is very, very important. How are they producing? So sometimes you get to an industry where they are running 2 lines, and each line is running at maybe 40% of its capacity. And the good thing might be to just run only 1 line on 80% instead of consuming unnecessary energy. So we look at the processes as well.
I'll try to be as quick as possible, like my colleague has said, to manage the time. Thank you. So why does RECP matter to CEOs? First of all, it helps to control costs. It eliminates hidden losses. Secondly, it helps lower regulatory and reputational risks. Thirdly, it helps with strategic positioning with export markets, investor confidence, and it shifts sustainability from a cost center to a competitive advantage. So RCP is implemented through practical, proven actions, not complex theory, as I've just said. And on the screen here, it shows 8 different practices. They include better process control, good housekeeping, input material change. They're all on the screen, and the slide will be shared later. So just to show that many of these require low capital. So, but without strong management commitment, it's nearly impossible, close to impossible to implement. How does RECP improve profitability? First of all, it reduces raw material losses. It can help you cut your energy and water bills. It lowers your waste handling costs. It improves process uptime. And these gains show up directly on the bottom line and not just in sustainability reports. It also creates value by converting inefficiencies into saving. What used to be waste becomes reduced costs, recovered materials, etc. So this is just an overview of the methodologies. I'm not going to go too deep into it, I'm just going to list them. Material flow analysis, energy audits, and process optimization, which my senior colleague, Mr. Olakunle, has just spoken on right now, so there's no need for me to go deep into that. So now I'm just going to show a few case studies from the assessments that we've conducted from the 42 companies visited across zones in Nigeria. These case studies vary from small to large scale. The first one is from a food and beverage industry. From our findings of the walkthrough, we saw that it was poor housekeeping, no good housekeeping practice. They have lost a lot of their grains during offloading, transloading. The waste, some of them were recycled and the rest disposed to landfills. They had a water treatment plant, but no automation and no meters. There were also a lot of leaks. From one of the leaks, we measured the amount of water lost. It was almost 90 liters a day. In most industries across the country, we know a lot of industries or a lot of companies have issues with power. So lights coming and going constantly. So there are a lot of power outages here too, causing a lot of start-stop wastage. And finally, the total gain waste, even though we we approximated for most of the companies visited that waste was about 5%, but with our calculations, even after the visits, we saw that it was much more than 5%. So this is, I don't know if you can see the screen clearly. I'm very sorry about that. I've tried to increase the font as much as possible, but this is the best I could get without going off the screen. So this company conducted energy audits to identify their inefficiencies and opportunities for improvement. They implemented energy efficient technologies such as LED lighting and automated systems to reduce energy consumption. They've introduced waste reduction strategies and trained their staff on sustainable practices and engaged employees in implementing RCP initiatives. This company followed a phased process for implementation. They didn't try to do everything all at once.
Then Kasima is here. Very good. If you don't mind, I will start with the Federal Ministry of Environment, Government, because they are the anchor institution, as it were. And we'll begin by asking how the Ministry of Environment integrates industrial sustainability, energy efficiency, and cleaner production into national environment policy frameworks. Also, we would like to know from the ministry what policy reforms or incentives are being considered to encourage private sector investment in green and resource-efficient industrial development. And if you could, because of time, okay, so let's take it. It means you just go straight to the point, 1 minute per question if possible. So the first one is, how does your ministry, that's the Ministry of Environment, integrate industrial sustainability, energy efficiency, and cleaner production into national environment policy frameworks? How do you integrate what I've been hearing since morning into your policy framework in the country?
Thank you very much. I think policy is key to sustainable development, because after all the discussions here, and policy can just, a single policy can destroy whatever an industry has built in 100 years. So for us in the Federal Ministry of Environment and as government and under this project, we understand that for now, the country does not have any single policy or framework that speaks on resource efficiency, cleaner production directly. But what we were able to do was to try to integrate the policy instrument, the RECP, that's Resource Efficiency Cleaner Production Policy Instruments, in other existing policies in Nigeria. Because we have fiscal policy, financial policy, environmental policies, industrial policies, all those things are energy efficiency policies, and all these things are speaking to industry. Before now, basically what our policy talks about in Nigeria, we are still practicing end of pipe pollution control methodology, which means the waste must have been created, losses have been recorded. But under resource efficiency cleaner production, we have basically 12 policy instruments under resource efficiency cleaner production. And we believe that all these different sectors that speaks to the industry needs to beef up their policies. So what we did was to analyze the existing policies and put them side by side the RECP policy instruments to identify gaps. And that's what we have done. On that note, we've developed compendium of industrial and environmental policies to bridge this gap, to make sure that industries do have clear knowledge of policies that speaks to their different sectors. So we have organized different workshops and sensitizations to other government sectors to make sure that they understand these simple policy instruments. In other words, as they are making progress in their own private sectors or their own different individual sectors, they make sure they pick these policy instruments interwoven into their sectoral policies.
Thank you very much. I think it's clear that we don't have a policy on RECP and IEE, but we try to mainstream them into different policies that exist. From the Federal Minister of Environment, we would like to move on to Nesria to ask. Thank you, Nesria. So, how is Nesria aligning environmental compliance requirements with the promotion of cleaner production and energy efficiency in the manufacturing sector?
Thank you for the question. I know in Nesria we do enforce compliance with the provision of extant environmental laws. The energy efficiency resource efficiency production is a good program that is going to reduce the problem of climate change. Whatever we are doing on this surface of that as ecological approach. Now, by adopting the RECP, there we are talking of sustainable management of our resources. For the purpose of this program, we are talking of probably focusing more on energy, but there are other areas of concern too, like sustainable water consumptions and other waste management. Now, the agency is coming up with, or has come up with, this circular economy, and the circular economy is now talking of how do we maximize efficient usage of our resources in such a way that we are going to have cleaner productions. Let me give you an example. If we are consuming too much of electricity because of our failure to adopt this program, then we directly or indirectly will be contributing to global climate change problems, and which has a global outlook in terms of when the problem arises. So in Nigeria, we are just trying to make sure that as much as industry can, to adopt technology that will ensure cleaner production process. I'm privileged to attend a program now which is organized by the agency, collaborating with other relevant stakeholders on the National Industrial Decarbonization Program, and it's also talking about how will industry mainstream the intention to reduce the emissions of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which ultimately lead to global warming. So as much as we are in Nigeria, we're trying to ensure that the companies imbibe the spirit of sustainable development, and there's no way that can be carried out without keying into this RECP program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me just add, to help us understand what the government has already done under the EPR, which is under the Nigeria. I think Nigeria has, tried to showcase this concept under EPR. The EPR helps the manufacturers to imbibe the culture of managing their resources and reducing waste on their own, even before regulators comes in. So we have EPR to support this process. Thank you.
That's a good one. Thank you very much. We'd like to listen to Kasima now. Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. In your own perspective, how can Kasima leverage its convening power to drive awareness and uptake of IE and RCP practices among SMEs and large industries in Kano? Kano area.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk. In fact, when I received the invitation, I am actually representing the Director General. When he told me to come, I said, this is, when I saw Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, I said, this is a very big blow to Kasim. So to go straight to your question, yeah, Ibrahim, I know you are laughing. To go straight to your question, the best way we can do is to create awareness, just like MAN did. We have to do a very serious collaboration with the organizers of this program. I've been attending UNIDO programs. I think this is about the second or third time. So the best way we can do is to create awareness. We just have to organize a seminar like this, call all our members. I have over 5,000 members. But as I'm talking to you now, I don't think I have up to 10 members here. And in all the UNIDO programs I've attended, I have not seen more than 10 members, honestly. So you have given me a very big blow now. I just have to go back to the drawing board, arrange myself, and then call as many members as possible for a program like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kasima. That's a very good one. The parent MAN now, MAN at the national level, which will represent also, are there policies or incentive mechanisms that you would strongly recommend to motivate manufacturers to invest in IEE and RCP technologies?
Thank you very much. As we're all aware, there's been an increase or the high cost of energy in the country, with the sudden increase in the banding of the electricity tariff, which affects almost all manufacturers. So because of that, a lot of our members are being innovative, coming up with new ways of saving energy. And even in the past, without the high cost of energy, let me give you an example with my factory. I think we have a zero waste policy whereby all our waste, we recycle it, like the gentleman from Nasria said, to create a cycle economy. So that's what we did. And even the final waste we have buyers whereby they use it for another industry. So it's up to the regulators to come up with a policy that encourages circular economy rather than putting a total ban. For example, the single-use ban of plastic. I think that's not the way forward, because if you look at it, without being an expert, if you go around, you'll see there's already a informal circular economy in the plastic sector. We have people that are into recycling. We have almost most of the plastics that are being produced in the country are being recycled, but in an informal way, rather than the government to encourage it, to reward those that are doing it, but they're putting a ban on it. By doing that, they're killing a whole industry. I think we went round with the DG of MAN to Dakar. If you go there, you'll see a lot of I think you should go there as well. A lot of plastic recycling plants, small, medium, large, that are really into recycling plastic, rather than putting a total ban and killing those industries that has created jobs for thousands and thousands of youths. It's better to come up with a policy. Okay, what can we do? Sit down with stakeholders, come up with a proper regulation on how to tackle it and how to reduce the waste, and also reward those that are into recycling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I was just whispering to her that she's representing NASI. From the point of view of NASI, are there some policies or incentives also that you can recommend? This one.
Good afternoon, everyone. What we actually require from NASI is a stable and constant power supply. If you could remember, around 2024, when there was a national grid collapse, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, most of the businesses almost collapsed in the Akata area. So it is important we have this supply of energy constantly. Like where I am now, on AU block, we are going to supply us power from Tiga, which is going to be cheaper and also constant. So with that, I think it can improve our production and also reduce our costs. As we all know, the major cost that we incurred apart from raw material and machineries is energy. So if there is any way we can have this constant supply, it is very important for us, because most of the small businesses there, they cannot afford a generator. I'm telling you, the small businesses there, much more than 20% have generators. We all rely on KEDCO to supply the energy. So if there is any shutdown, normally our businesses go down. Thank you.
What efforts is your ministry making to support industrial energy efficiency and resource efficient production? And with respect to promoting industrialization in the state.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody. Kano State government is not blunt in its decision to promote the development of industries in Kano, not only in Kano or in Nigeria as a whole. Recently, we are embarking on the review of our industrial and commercial policy of the state, which was last reviewed in 1995. And I think with what the person, Nasria, and this guy has just, Federal Minister of Environment has just stated, I think this is a better opportunity, or the best opportunity for us to include the energy efficient program within the industrial policy of Kano State, so that it can concur with the current situation on ground, so that industries in the state will definitely have the advantage of enjoying the energy efficient and improve their economy or improve their productions and the energy save. In this regards, as also the hydroelectricity power by Kano State government at Tiga, which is producing at least 10 megawatt of electricity, particularly to small and medium enterprises in the state at a cheaper rate. It's also a commendable effort, and I think it's in line with your particular objectives of promoting the use of industrial energy efficiency in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Time is really running out, and before we come to each of us to give us one single action that your institution will prioritize in the next 12 months to accelerate industrial energy efficiency and RECP. I'd like to ask this question to the Minister of Environment, because they are the main government body on this panel, that we've listened to a lot that have been achieved under this project, and everybody is happy. It's like we should continue for a very long time. What can the ministry do? What measures are in place to sustain this type of engagement and continuation of promoting RECP and IEE?
Thank you very much. As you know, we are policymakers, so our effort is centered on policy. So the Federal Ministry of Environment have considered 2 additional policy framework to be added to the kind of policy that's been existing, which is regulating policy. We already have regulating policy. For the Federal Ministry of Environment, in order to sustain resource efficiency cleaner production, has decided to consider incentive policies and guiding policies into the policy framework. The incentive policies will help the industries that are performing under the resource efficiency cleaner production to get incentives, promotions, recognitions, while the guiding policy is already what UNIDO is doing, which we need to enact back into our policy, because what the UNIDO is doing presently is to guide our performance, to guide the technology we use, give us information on best industrial practices, which the Federal Ministry of Environment has adopted to include into the upcoming policy, so that we'll have a balanced industrial performance system in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. We'll move to the last lap of the questions now, which is to ask each panelist in 1 minute to tell us one single action that the organization or institution should take or will take to prioritize in the next 12 months IEE and RECP. Gonna be doing the baby.
One aspect that we do is, like you said in the first place, there are some machines that we need to take off and that we don't normally consider it, but now we'll put it into consideration. Also, like recycling, sometimes we don't put that cost of recycling some raw materials into our costs. So that one is increasing our costs without us knowing. So we are going to take that into consideration.
Thank you.
I think what they can also do to improve compliance with this program is to continue the enlightenment campaign. It doesn't have any limits. It should not have any limits. The dissertation program will continue. Then again, there should be also there should be a kind of a award, so to say, to the willing or any company that is trying to comply or key into this program. Usually, as an industrialist, their fear most often is, how do I commit this amount of money into this program? They may be having a kind of fear that, am I sure I'm going to recoup or get some profit after that? So there's need to continue to sensitize them, and also give a kind of a regulation or award to compliance facility.
Maybe I should sharpen the question better. We are asking you what your organization will do in the next 12 months to promote IEE and RECP.
Okay, on our part in Israel, we will continue to factor the issue of sustainable management of resources in our compliance monitoring process, by ensuring that all aspects of the production that are directly linked to global warming, climate change, circular economy, EPR, into the program are fully complied with. By so doing, I think it's going to really drive this RECP compliance progress.
Thank you, Nasra.
Okay. For us in the Federal Ministry of Environment and NESRA, we are the policymakers, they regulate. And I think in the next 12 months, we are going to enact a policy framework, a regulatory and policy framework that will automatically speak to all these concerns that we're talking about today. So I think that's what we'll do. Partnership and collaboration with NESRA.
Thank you.
Well, at MAN, what we're going to do is to continue to create awareness and to enlighten our members to be more energy efficient, and also to introduce them with better ways of being energy efficient, and also to work in partnership with the policymakers and the regulatory agencies to come up with a policy that rewards those that are being energy efficient, rather than the regulators seeing it as a revenue generating avenue. Because that's the problem we have in Nigeria. any small chance regulation has turned into revenue generation. So I think we should be able to differentiate that, encourage regulation, but not turning it into for example, giving targets to regulators, things like that. I think that should not be. We have revenue generating agencies, existing agencies that are meant to be generating revenue for the government, while regulators are meant to regulate rather than the government giving them a target. So that's what we're going to continue doing at MAN, enlightening our members and sharing, engaging the government as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kano State Government.
Well, I don't want to say much or high, but actually, Kano State Government will continue to provide the necessary support and cooperation to those industries, not only industries, but as Association of Nigeria, MAN regulatory agency. Actually, are going to give them the maximum support and cooperation so that they will successfully execute their mandates and ensure that this project has the light of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I think MAN and state government agents have answered my question. My one is to tap into what they said. We'll continue to create awareness, and then give all the necessary support to all our members, as well as key into state government possible intervention, incentive, to see that everybody key into energy efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've listened to the panelists. I think one key thing I can draw from what have been said is that the country does not have RECP IE policy, and I was expecting the Federal Minister of Environment to tell us that they are going to work on that in the next 12 months. Yes. So, Environment and Nestra, we are waiting on you to kindly help us do that and help us also to see how we can sustain what have been gained via this program. MAN, Kasima talks about raising awareness, which is very, very important. Let all industrialists, MSMEs know about this. Let's drum it to them. Let's eradicate all over the place. We've learned that it increases productivity over time. So thank you very much. We expect that we take what have been said on this panel into consideration as we go to address organizations and institutions, and we can mark us based on that submission after 12 months. Thank you very much, audience, for listening to them, and we hope that we can together as we join hands enhance the gains of this project as we continue to partner and see how we benefit more from what that we do. Thank you, and we're happy to have been here, to stand before you, sit before you, and you have listened to us. We do have an opportunity of asking them questions from the audience. Okay. I'm sure we can take one or two questions. So just please go straight to your question and direct it at
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I don't want to take you back, and I don't want you to laugh at this my question. You have laughed already. Please, I used to hear about the fall in national grid. Every time, fall in national grid. Please, what is fall in national grid and what is falling it? That is what I want to know. I want to be educated.
The collapse of the national grid. I think I read in Punch that yesterday or 2 days ago that the national grid had collapsed twice in 4 days. Energy Commission is now here. Someone, okay, thank you. Oh, yes, resident officer.
And
a gas turbine, when the gas falls below a certain pressure and I guess rotations and whatever, it switches off automatically. So when you go and start having that problem, and it happens to very many companies that are, because the majority of energy we get is actually gas generated, then you have a collapse of the national grid. So it means to restart, they have to find energy from another source to restart the. So this is my own layman understanding, since nobody else seems to be able to answer the question.
This is a professional answer, not layman.
Before my closing remark, I want to appreciate the following organizations. Kano State Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperative, Global Environment Facility, UNIDO, Federal Ministry of Environment, Bank of Industry, Nestria, Man Kano Branch, Nigeria Foundries, ECOWAT, Hospitalia. We appreciate you all. And Nancy, please. Distinguished participants, representative of public and private sectors, industrialists, and esteemed stakeholders. As we conclude this public-private sector dialogue, I sincerely thank you for your active participation and valuable contribution. Today's session has provided an important platform to sensitize stakeholders on recent policy updates, review the current status of project implementation, and receive constructive feedback from the private sector under the GEF UNIDO Industrial Energy Efficiency and Resource Efficient Cleaner Production Project. The rich discussion and practical insights shared clearly underscore the value of strong collaboration between government and industries and development partners in advancing energy efficiency and resource efficient and cleaner production in Nigeria. The feedback and perspective shared will directly inform ongoing and future project activities, policy engagement and implementation strategies, ensuring that our intervention remain relevant and impactful and sustainable. We also acknowledge and commend the private sector actors and the partner institutions whose commitment continue to drive progress towards a more competitive and environmentally sustainable industrial sector. As we move forward, we count on your continued collaboration and commitment to translate today's dialogue into concrete action and support a sustainable industrial development. Thank you once again for your partnership and encouragement. I wish you a safe journey home and look forward to our continued engagement. Thank you all.